Picking up a new forestay for this Montgomery 17. This is 5/32 wire using stay lock fittings, and got it cut and got that cone or whatever they call it right there in place, and getting ready to rewind everything and dry fit it. Kind of hard to show this, but you need to, when you're doing these stay locks, you've got to kind of dry fit it to get the pieces started to shape. The wire, one of the wires can fall down in the little crack in that little cone thing if you're not careful. So you've got to be real careful to get it to form and, you know, kind of be somewhat evenly spaced around, and not make sure one of those wires doesn't fall down in that little crack in that, or that split in that piece. And, you know, then it does good. If one of the wires gets down in that little split in that cone piece, it won't tighten up properly, and it won't reach maximum strength. So it needs to kind of look like that all the way around. Also, when you dry fit it, it's a really good idea to put some lanolin or something like that on the threads. So I need to move them around just a fraction right there, but it's pretty good, so that it doesn't, so that the threads don't gall and stick together. This fitting, new in the pack, had a lubricant on the threads, which is a good thing. The last one I did not have it. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to, I'm gonna put, I'm using life caulk, and I'll fill that part in right there with just a little blob of life caulk, and then I will put thread locker on the threads and put it together permanently, and then that'll be my new forestay for this Montgomery. Okay, there's my new forestay made up. So this is up in the bow of the boat, and it's just a little 4-inch inspection port here, and I've got to fix my bow eye. The backer has rotted out from behind it, so I've got to take those nuts off in there and pull that bow eye out, and then chisel out that rotted out little area there. It's just the backer block that's rotten. And then put a new backer block in, and then re-drill and re-bolt. So the problem is there's just not much space. I've only got that little 4-inch hole there to work in, so it's doable, but it's going to be kind of interesting to be able to get in there and get it out and get a new piece of epoxy back in. Well, this is a bit tight, but I think I'm gonna be able to get it done. I'm just using a big long screwdriver and a hammer. I'm just using the screwdriver like a chisel, and just punching little let's see if I can see in there. Just cutting out that fiberglass off of that rotten core of that little backer there. So I've got the fiberglass cover cut off of it. Well, it took a while, but I did get it all cleaned out. You can see there where this piece of wood was glassed in there for a backer. Okay, got a piece of teak in there, and left some, you know, space for some really good thickened epoxy squeeze out everywhere around it. And I've got it shaped to the back side where it's kind of rounded at the bow. And it's also quarter sawn in relation to the position I'm putting it in, so that the bolts will be compressing against every layer of growth ring. Rather than trying to split the growth rings in half, it'll be compressing against all of the growth rings, so it won't split on me, and that should work, and that should last a long time. One of the main reasons you use wood in a place like this is because it's got really good compression strength, but yet it can take a shock load and not split or crack. Okay, I've got this backer for the bow eye all cut out and repaired, and it's really hard to see in there. It's just a little 4-inch inspection port there, and then it's back in there about 7 inches or so, so it's kind of hard to reach in there. But anyway, quarter sawn teak, backing plug, set in thickened epoxy with colloidal silica and a little bit of fairing compound to make it sticky where it'll stay in there. And then there's 2 layers of 1708 biaxial covering it. And I left the bottom open. You can't see it, but I left the bottom of the wood plug kind of open so that if any water got back in there, it could, weep out the bottom. Okay, I've got it reinstalled and fully bedded with life caulk on the outside and fender washers on the inside. So I made me a little knob there for dogging down this forward hatch here on this Montgomery 17. It's just a carriage head bolt, a washer and a nut, and a handle off of a broken pipe cutter, and that'll work. And I just took my grinder and shaped the tip of the bolt into a kind of an easy point there where it pulls it down good. I'm taking off this old motor mount here on this Montgomery 17. This is a combination of stainless and rusty mild steel that's been painted, and aluminum, so it's a kind of a disaster here. It looks like something that somebody's kind of hodgepodge together, and the board on it's about rotten too. Anyway, I'm replacing it with another one I've got here that's a lot nicer. And I've got all the bolts out with difficulty. They're always hard to get to, but it's been completely bedded with what looks like maybe 5200 or something similar to the transom, and I'm trying to get it off here without messing up the gel coat or the paint. And what I've done, I've just taken a piece of 3/16 stainless wire, and I've got it between 2 vice grips, and I'm just going to pull it back and forth like a saw. And I'm holding my phone here, sorry, I can't really show you what I'm doing here, but I just take and work it back and forth like a saw behind that, and it cuts the caulking. It takes a few minutes to do it, but it cuts the caulking and lets it release without yanking off the outside layer of gel coat. So anyway, just back and forth like that. I'm using the wire in conjunction with Marine Formula D-bond, and you can see there I'm about halfway down now. Like I say, it takes a little while, but it can save you gel coat. Okay, I got it off with the wire and the D-bond, and I'm just using a mechanic scraper. This is already softened with the D-bond, and I'm using a mechanic scraper to get off the bulky stuff. Well, somebody in the past has had put this big 8-inch inspection port right here, and while it did help, it's still really difficult to get to these bolts, but I was able to get one good backer plate across 2 of the bolts, and then I've got fender washers on the rest of them. So trying to get the very last bolt in this motor mount, and it is way back up underneath there, and there is just almost impossible for me to get back there. But sometimes it's really nice to have grandkids that are smaller and can crawl back in places like this. One of my grandkids is gonna crawl in there and put that bottom nut on there for me. Okay.
All right, help me out.
You ready?
I just need to get over that hump and then. All right, now I can do it. Here you go.
All right.
Here you go.
Thank you, bud.
Uh huh.